What's up, guys? I am in a hotel here in Long Beach, California. I am heading on a cruise tomorrow, so I'm just checking to see if I'm live. And if you hear me and see me, and if you hear audio from music and me, let me know everything's good. I'm just continuing this track from the other night. Definitely. And usually takes a moment. Pretty sure. Here we go. We got it. Jeff. Alrighty. Let's I wanna from the other day I was on this breakdown part. I need to add another part here and more percussion, but I gotta listen through it because it's been a couple of days. I wanna just go through it a little bit and see if I can finish this track. I need to get this done this week for this one publisher. It's one library. It's a publisher. It's publishing. It's a library. I want to check, make sure I have everything where I want it. There we go, that breakdown part. It's good to just have something a little bit different to flow into, to break it down. Okay. Hold on. Let's see here. Can't remember that marimba if that was working or not. That might work. It's amazing when you just get your ears out of something for a while and come back and listen to it. It works out a little bit better. And we're going to add another one of these. Another one right there to end that out. Let's copy and paste that. No, not all of it. We don't want to do that. Just one. Just this note here. Let's try this again. I'm going to check the delay on that. There you go. It'll go into this other part here. And we're going to add another part here. I don't want strings or anything horror on this particular brief. So I need to think of something. And I think this is where the guitar or vocals. I don't have my guitar with me. I am in a hotel here in Long Beach, California. So That's not gonna happen. So we're gonna do something cool here. Folks, this is where you could be a guitar player, but VST guitars do work. Some effect of it. You know, it's not 100. If you're a guitar player, you know it's not that, but this is worked for me. Believe it or not, it has. This is all my guitar inputs. So what we're going to do is let's use this one. This tracker here, this synth lead track. Let's come back and let's adjust all this. Where I have my EQ set. Got everything pre-done. There is Omnisphere has a good one. We'll see what we can do on this. Some of your go-to patches and such. Let's go to guitars, overdriven leads. There is a really good PRS lead one. This keyboard. For traveling, guys, I don't know if y'all see this, but I have this little Akai LPK25. A lot of people use. I love this thing. It's a really good keyboard to travel with, especially if you're in hotels or Panera Breads and such. It's really good. Let's get my latency monitoring on here. See which one works best. Yes, I'm a guitar player, but this can work. But what I'm going to do is I'm probably going to layer this maybe with some vocal or something. That might work really well. Let's see here. Not bad. Oh, wrong note. It's been a few days since I've done this. Remember my notes. Let's try this. 3, 4, 3, 4. Cut that note out of there. That ain't working. You know, I'm just going to redo this track. We're just going to re-record it, folks. It's going to be quicker. But I know it notes on a hit. Let's figure out what we're doing here. Right. There you go. Oh, shit. Okay. Don't move it. Couple ways to skin that cat. And we gotta quantize it. If you're close. Eh. Okay, so we're going to add another heavier percussion, but I think I'm going to layer under that guitar some vocal or something. Vocals and choirs are so good in tension music. It's amazing. It really does work. So, but there is a light choir here, but I think I'm going to just take a vocal part over the top of that as kind of a lead. Let's find a heavier percussion here. I want to do something real quick. Let's get the level on that. Oh, sorry. I don't have my audio interface with me either. But you don't have to if you're doing all in box. Another tip there for you. Even though it's good to have at home. All right. Let's see if we can get a... Look at something that works. Good old damage. Damage comes through for us again here, folks. Let's get that latency monitoring on here. And let's change the name of that while we're at it. Guitar. Change the name of that. We'll rename. I always like to rename these, even though that doesn't quite come up all the time, but it works. All right, now let's go. Let's go. Let's see here. Here's what we're going to do. Normally I do is I take all this percussion, play it, and see if it all, just alone, by itself, just make sure everything lines up. Sounds pretty good. No. Alrighty, let's. Time consumption. You start doing unnecessary steps and things that you normally wouldn't do. So it makes a difference building that up at the end. or coffee. We'll adjust that fade there in the end. Right now I want to find a good lead vocal, because here we have this light choir, but that's not more of a lead choir. It's a texture, more so than anything, that came in here on that breakdown. Let's see. Let's adjust the delay on this. Difference might be okay. Had a little bit of, it's almost like a swing, a little bit of an offbeat there, and that kalimba might be okay. All right, let's look for that vocal. And that's cool. I've got a bunch of different vocal stuff, and I tell you what's cool is I've got some stuff over here in Kontakt that's really good too. Really good for tension stuff. A few things. Let's try good old Farlight first, see what we've got going on. If not, Exhale is really good right here with output. Farlight. It's a lot of tools, depending on what you're going to do musically. It's the thing about composing music. Is why I wanted to do this video. And what I want to do when I get this track done here is I'm going to do some alt mixes, but not really any that apply to this library, but I'm going to show you some standard alt mixes that I cut just to kind of give you an idea and part of composing for it. So what I wanted to do in this little series is kind of just show you some things I've learned and things that I do that might help you. And as I say, a lot of that stuff I passed on you, the additional people to follow and those books to read. Follow those guys, get that stuff and learn from it. All that stuff combined can help you so much. All right, let's see here. Choirs, affirmation. All of this. The Straylight and the Farlight and the Ashlight, the Lights trilogy series from Native is so cool. The Farlight is a very choir-based app that they've created pulse synths and various other things from it. It's pretty cool. And here's a little tip right here. Generally on this, you're probably going to use the same chorus line as you would on that guitar or this choir here. So copy and paste that down here, and then maybe you may need to take it an octave higher. Maybe not. Let's see. Let's take it an octave higher so it comes up. That's my work. May have to get some of the high end out of the EQ, but see how much difference that makes under that guitar. You can hear where that blends under that guitar, and it kind of takes away from the VST feel of that guitar a little bit, where you hear the guitar. This is, I think, the beauty of mixing different instruments. That I've talked about blending VST textures between my guitar playing and some of the other stuff. If you don't have a particular instrument, this can do it. These two choirs are together, layered, just kind of texture. Pretty cool. We may leave that to K like that. So now I'm going to go from the beginning and just listen to this track and see what we're doing. This track may be done. So that bass comes in there. That bass is some of the low end. Helps a little bit on that. Hold on, I'm missing something here. Bass comes in. It's a changing perk, I think, but sitar or saz, my bad. That's another thing. My saz didn't come in, didn't connect. There it is. What's that doing, that? Brings in a heavier percussion for that big finale. That big grand finale. Oop. Volume. Right. That's cool right there. I think that's cool. We'll keep it. Okay. Nothing you're going to find here in this. Dave Crofts talked about this. Like, if you think of like, if you do a genre of music, it's titles your titles are going to be so important in music when you compose music. I can't stress this enough. And it's harder to name these tracks than it is to create them. You'll find yourself being able to knock them out and go, what do I name it? And there's some things you can do. I mean, just to kind of get creative with your titles. If the library has used it, they may suggest a title. Let them run with it. Let the library title it. Just as long as you get that title and you go notate and change the name of your file folder where you back it up. And I passed on Composer Catalog. We'll talk about that further. Go see that video. Rename it in there and make sure you know where everything is at in your titles. So, because you get enough tracks, it can get very confusing. So, folks, I think this track's about done. What I want to do is to not make this video too long, I want to render out the mix. I want to kind of show you the alt mixes that I do here. I'm going to do some alt mixes in this video that's not particularly the alt mixes that I'm doing for this publisher, because he runs in AIF files, and I am going to do that, but I am going to render that WAV file in that, but hang on a second. I literally forgot what I was doing here. What in the... Bear with me 1 second here. Oh, that's the one I was going to do. All right. I know we're going to name this. Let's first close out this. Generally what I do is I will do a new I'll just and I'll name it, and then I'll name the track because I've already closed it. I need to copy that name because we're going to do something else. Move it into that folder. Create a file folder for everything you're doing, folks. Go, and I can't stress enough that when you use your file folder that you're going to back up on your hard drive. Package everything as I'm doing this, so it'll save you so much. But I don't keep all of my sessions on these folders on the computer because it'll fill your hard drive up. Back it up on a hard drive, and I'm going to show you something else I do here. It'll back up the tracks. So even if you lost the sessions, you've got the tracks in the cloud somewhere. Very important. I've really realized that I have to do this. So this is going to be the individual tracks file. I'll build a file for the tracks, do my alt mixes and tracks, and then if the particular library, whoever you need, stems, the difference between individual tracks and stems, individual tracks, you're tracking out every track. It's your kick drum, your snare, your bass, all individual. Stems are all of your drums and your percussion. Unless they tell you to give me drums and then give me percussion, separate those stems, do that. All of your basses, all of your lead pulse synths, all of your drones, your pads, you get the point. All of your vocals, unless they tell you to separate drones and separate pads, unless they tell you to separate lead vocals to backing vocals, they'll specify. But generally it's just all your vocals, your basses, your drums, your guitars, all your pulse synths, and you get the point. If in doubt, just ask. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this back up. I'm going to bring this back up, and we're going to we're going to bring this session back up. And we are going to, I'm going to render out what I know. I'm going to render out what I know. This particular publisher library uses AIF files, so I'm going to render this one out on the AIF. I need to listen to it. So we're going to do an MP3, but because I always do an MP3. Reason being is I'll copy and paste that into the audio file folder for the Composer catalog, but that MP3 could be in there for other things. I keep a file folder of completed tracks for the year in an MP3 file folder. So we're going to go AIF. He goes 24-bit, 48K. Shimmer of the Truth, full. We bounce it. I usually just bounce them to my desktop. Some people prefer to bounce to a folder somewhere else, but I've got to get them to that folder. Everything's on that desktop, so there's nothing wrong with it. You do you and on this stuff. Everybody's DAW is going to be different. Everybody's process is going to be different. So we're going to do this. So AIF files take a little longer to render than WAV, so it takes a few seconds more here. And success. Minimize here, and somewhere along the way we got the full AIF file and the MP3. So I'm going to open this up, and there's your full mix. Let's listen to it real quick. Always want to get it out of the DAW and listen to it on your computer like I've got a pair of Bose speakers. Reference it in real audio. But it just gets out of that environment of your DAW and listening to it in a real world, audio space of consumer audio, like your computer, your car, you name it. It's a big difference. So far, so good. It's cool. It's water, man. Cool. Very cool. That works for me. Now, I'm going to show you some alt mixes that I do. This is very important. Get all your alt mixes in the file folder, but what you really want to do especially is you want to take all these tracks, whatever DAW you use. I export all tracks as audio files from my export. I'll go find that track, Shimmer of the Truth. Got a lot of stuff on this computer. And I go select Shimmer of the Truth tracks, and I will 24-bit WAV files and export them to that file folder. Get all your tracks, all of your individual percussion tracks and your bass. This is what we're doing. We're outputting each individual track. These are not the stems. The stems, as I said, are groups of tracks of the similar. Some of you that have been doing this a while, you know what I'm talking about. But if you're new at composing, there's your difference. Because I've seen a lot of people ask that question. And you may have some people say, just track it out for me. Because you get libraries that you send stuff and they want to mix it. So. Next thing I do, I won't do it on this yet because I do it later, but I'll take this folder of tracks, and I'll upload it to a Dropbox file. When I back up this whole file folder on my hard drive, I'll just take the tracks, only the audio tracks, and I'll back those up into the cloud in the Dropbox. And this thing just screwed up because it did not. I didn't select the right thing, so I've got to redo this stuff. I didn't, I know what I did wrong here. Just let it go. It'll stop here in a minute. Oh, gosh. Know what I did wrong here. Sorry. I wasn't paying attention. Come on. I got to go delete all that and start over. We're only supposed to render to the end of the cycle range. I screwed up on that deal. Let's select all these. Trash them. Trash. Alright, let's try this again, folks, shall we? Alright, so when you export all tracks as audio files, show me the two tracks. Instead of trim silence to the file end, you want to go export to cycle range only. And that'll be a little bit quicker, a little bit better. Let's just go in and go into the trash and delete all that stuff out. Look at this stuff filling up my hard drive. That stuff will fill up your hard drive. Alright, so as you can see, I've got all these in here. Let's clean up. All the tracks are backed up there. Then from this point, I'll do all my alt mixes, and then I'll save this whole file folder onto my hard drive. And it's this folder right here, tracks folder, I'll upload into a Dropbox cloud. Start getting the habit of doing that. That way, something happens to the session or you lose it, you've got your track, your audio track somewhere that you at least have that. You can save that. So, and that will help tremendously. So, on this, I want to show y'all something here. And then we'll call this video, not to make it too terribly long, is that when we're rendering it, you got the full mix, which I just did. Now, you want to do like a narrative underscore mix. Some people call it a narrative mix. Some libraries will call it underscore. Mostly, you'll hear underscore. So, what that is, you're taking out the lead parts and getting an underscore. Sometimes it'll turn it into a different track. And as I said a while back ago, your underscore tracks sometimes get used more than the full mix. So I've got, that may be considered a lead, so let's take that out of there. Your choirs, their leads, we'll take those out. In fact, this choir could be an underscore, or the lead vocal. This vocal here can come out. Lead guitar, definitely coming out. This could be a lead. Some things you probably want to leave in. You probably could leave that in because it's not too much of a lead. Gives it a little bit of variety. So the sitar is fine. Every track is going to be different. That's not too much of a lead that's distracting, so we can leave that in as an underscore. And the very last part, pretty much underscore. So you bounce that. And as we have here, we can, I'm going to go back to Wave 16-bit 44K. Just for reference sakes, we'll do this as underscore. Now your naming conventions, how you do the file and naming, every library is going to be different how you name your file when you save it. I just did it one way because later when I do his alt mixes, I will enter it how he wants it. There's a file naming convention they want in the track, and every one of them are different. Some of them it doesn't matter. You'll go into a portal and you'll name it and type it how they want it, you know. Not in all caps sometimes, but you get the point. The file is not going to matter. It's just what they name it because their system catalogs it. So there's your underscore. I'll do an underscore version of that stuff. So you got underscore. Then I'll go in and you've got your 30 seconds. In this case, at 75 BPM, my last 8 bars dictates 30 seconds. So I'll slide up here and go, there's my 30 seconds. So from 120 to 152 is 32 seconds. Now, that 2 seconds can be trimmed off by an editor. They really don't want you to go more than 2 seconds, but there are some libraries, I will tell you, that it needs to end right at 30. And you can adjust this in the master inward 2 seconds, which is more than likely somewhere around here, about halfway through that last bar. So that puts it right at 30 seconds right in here. But in this case, that 2 seconds isn't going to matter unless they specify. These are the kind of things you kind of got to pay attention to. And they'll come back and this is a protocol, make sure until you get used to it. If you do a lot of tracks for that library, you're going to lock into it. So there's your 30 second. You render your 30 second. Bounce. And you'll go, boom, 30 seconds. Now here's the kicker here. What I normally do, you can render either the whole mix or you can just do the last 30 seconds. In this case, I say just render you got the last 30 seconds here. I'm going to roll this back here. You've got your last 30 seconds. And you know, I did it 30 seconds. It doesn't matter. I'm just doing it as to show you. It doesn't matter on that, but I did it as an underscore, but you want to do it full mix. Now, that's another note. You're going to get libraries that say, hey, listen, I need a 30-second full mix, and I need a 30-second underscore. I need a bumper full mix, and I need a bumper underscore. You get the point. So they may ask you for that. They may ask for 2 different stingers, and I'll show you that here in just a second. So generally what I will do is I will take, give me 1 second here. I'll take that 30-second track right here. I'll take this. You got the underscore, but I'm gonna go ahead and trash that. You got this 30-second here. I'm gonna take that 30-second track and I'm gonna bring it back into the DAW. I'm gonna bring it back into the DAW. I'll bring it right here to the beginning. Now, mind you, I mastered this. It's mastered. So it's important when you do these alt mixes, mute your mastering effects. It's already mastered. Bring your cycle range to here. And now you want to solo it. Now, I didn't do the 30-second, the full mix. I forgot to unmute those, but you'll get the point. Now, next one is your bumper. Well, if it's 8 bars, that's half of it right there. There's your bumper. Half of your 30-second. However many bars you're using in that 30-second. Usually half of it is your bumper. And you'll render that bumper. Bounce. Boom. You want to put it to audio because of the MIDI. It is a MIDI chase, note chase on here, but it just doesn't catch it. So just make sure you do your alt mixes beyond your full and your underscore with an audio file. Unless you can manipulate it off a full mix. Some people take the full mix and run it down below and do it, and that's okay. You do what works best for you. So I'm going to do this is your bumper. You render your bumper. Boom. Done. Now, next thing is your stinger. Your stinger, if you can pretty much look at your wave file right here, you can see your stinger is pretty much going to start at last chord somewhere around here. Let's play it. Sometimes they want it to come a little bit further back, but it varies. But a lot of times it's right here. Now, what you're going to find hold on. Hold on. There it is. It fades right out. That's your stinger. Now, a lot of times they may ask you for a short stinger. In this case, you would need to go in. I would need to go in and add a note right here. This particular library is a little bit different in that it's going to end over here. But if you needed a longer stinger, because generally a short stinger is just that last chord. Right here. Something short, just one note. It should fade out from here. Not your drums. So you'd have to go over here on this last note and add a note there and just drop it out. So basically your long stinger is what I just showed you, and short is just that last chord. Boom! Not another run coming into a swell. I have a particular library that asked me in front of this to put a swell in front of that stinger. You just bring in an audio riser, adjust your audio and bring the riser into it and let it go into the stinger. But that's your stinger, folks. And that is pretty much the gist of a lot of that stuff. You're going to be asked to, depending on the library, you're gonna be asked to do different things, and just get them what they need. It's important. It's a part of this business. It's just get them what they need. That's music licensing. And you got any questions or anything? Any questions whatsoever on composing? Let me know. I'll do a video trying to go further on that, even on the stingers. A lot of it is you get used to it. Just get used to doing it. You'll find on your alt mixes doing your 30-second and your bumpers. Once you get your 30 seconds, your bumpers generally half and every. Trying to get that, depends on what BPM you're at. You may have to add a couple of bars or something and kind of get creative with it. Don't feel bad, because I still sometimes struggle with that if I have to, especially with if I'm doing all guitars and doing stuff. This is why composing on the grid in 4 to 8 bar loops in production music is very important. It's so important that you do that. So that's part 2 of this video. Like I say, if you got any questions, you let me know. I will showcase it in the video when I can. I'm fixing to go out on a cruise ship here for about 14 days, so I probably won't do a whole lot till I get back. I may get on and talk about some things on the boat. We'll see. But other than that, I thank you guys for watching, and that's part 2 of the composing and all that. And again, anything I missed, chime in. I will make note to cover that in the video. We'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you so much. Bye.